Welcome to e-commerce psychology, the deep dive that gets to the heart of what really makes online shoppers tick and hopefully leads to more sales for you.
That's the goal.
This deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free. So today we're diving into something pretty fascinating, something that really impacts e-commerce. Zero-risk bias. It's this powerful preference we humans have for completely getting rid of a small risk, even if, there's another option that might actually give a better overall result, but it still has that tiny bit of risk attached.
Right. We just hate that little bit of uncertainty sometimes.
Exactly. And for you, listening and focused on growing your online business, getting a handle on this bias can unlock some really powerful strategies.
It really can. I mean, think about it. Have you ever spent a bit more just because something had that ironclad, no questions asked guarantee?
Oh, definitely.
Even if another product maybe looked slightly better, but the return policy was, I don't know, complicated. That's zero risk bias right there.
Yeah, whispering in your ear.
And we're going to explore today how guarantees specifically tap right into that bias. It can be a real game changer for your conversion rates.
Absolutely. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. Equip you with actionable knowledge on using guarantees in your e-commerce store, all grounded in the psychology of this zero-risk bias. We've looked at research specifically on overcoming this bias with guarantees in the online shopping world. We're going to dig into why customers might hesitate, maybe abandon their carts, because of those little nagging doubts, those perceived risks.
Yeah, those what ifs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll get into what makes this zero-risk thing so strong in our minds. Then we'll explore different guarantee strategies, look at some real-world examples. Some might surprise you.
Oh, yeah, there are some good ones.
And most importantly, we'll break down how you can design guarantees that actually work for your business. The goal, like always, is to give you those aha moments, practical takeaways, quickly and thoroughly without making your head spin.
Right. Get you the useful stuff without the overwhelm.
Okay, so let's kick things off. This idea of zero-risk bias. What exactly is it in simple terms?
Okay, so basically, it's that strong pull we feel towards making a risk completely disappear, vanish, even if, logically, accepting a tiny remaining risk would actually lead to a better outcome overall. Like, imagine you're offered a guaranteed saving of $85 on something you want. Right, guaranteed.
Got it.
Now, picture another offer. You have an 85% chance of saving $100. Mathematically, the expected value is the same, right? $85.
Right, same value.
But most people, they'll instinctively grab the guaranteed $85. That feeling of absolute certainty, it just feels better. It overrides the slightly better potential outcome that still has that small element of chance.
So it's not always rational, is it?
Not always consciously rational, no. It's really deep-seated in how our brains process risk. It's almost automatic.
Like a mental shortcut, maybe?
Sort of, yeah. Our brains love certainty. It feels safe.
Okay, so how does this actually play out in the world of online shopping? Why should someone running an e-commerce store really care about this bias?
Well, think about online shopping from the customer's view. Perceived risk is everywhere, isn't it?
Definitely.
You can't touch the product, you can't feel it, so you're wondering, will it actually look like the photo? Is the size right? What if it doesn't work like I expect?
What if returning it is a nightmare?
Exactly. Even the return process itself can feel like a risk. Will it be a hassle? Do I pay for shipping? All these little uncertainties, even if they seem minor to you as the seller, they can trigger that zero-risk bias.
And lead to hesitation.
Hesitation, second-guessing, and straight-up cart abandonment. This is precisely where guarantees come in. They directly tackle those perceived risks. They offer that feeling of certainty our brains just crave.
So guarantees aren't new, but using them strategically online is key.
Right. The sophistication in how we use them in e-commerce, that's what's evolved. We can be much more targeted now.
And the results, they can be pretty dramatic if you get it right. I've seen some stats.
Oh, absolutely. The numbers really back this up. Businesses that really strategically use guarantees, they often report conversion rate increases anywhere from, say, 30% up to even 150%.
Wow. 150%, that's huge.
It can be. And A/B testing. It consistently shows that just having clear, prominent guarantee messaging can cut cart abandonment by a good 15% to 30%.
Okay, that's significant.
And it's not just the first sale. Build that initial confidence with a good guarantee, and you often see customer lifetime value go up too, sometimes by 17%, sometimes up to 40%.
So it pays off long term as well.
Definitely. So if you're serious about optimizing conversions, lowering your acquisition costs, building those long-term relationships, you really have to address this zero risk bias. It creates this positive cycle. Confident purchase, realistic expectations, more satisfaction, higher loyalty. It all feeds itself.
Okay. I'm sold on why it's important, but let's dig a bit deeper. What's actually going on inside our heads? What's the psychology driving this intense desire for zero risk?
Well, there are a few cognitive things happening. Our brains love shortcuts, right, to make decisions faster. One is the certainty heuristic. Basically, we just overweight guaranteed outcomes compared to probable ones, even highly probable ones.
We just value certainty more.
Disproportionately so. Then there's uncertainty aversion. Evolutionarily, uncertainty could mean danger, right? So we're kind of wired to avoid unclear situations.
Makes sense from a survival perspective.
Exactly. Our brains also try to minimize cognitive load, the mental effort needed for decisions. A zero-risk option. It's simple, easy, less brain power required.
One less thing to worry about.
Precisely. And finally, decision fatigue is real. The more choices we make, the more tired our brains get, and the more we gravitate towards those easy, certain options. They just require less effort when we're mentally drained.
That makes a ton of sense, especially when you're browsing online, making lots of little decisions. But it's not just logic, right? Emotions must be a big part of this too.
Oh, huge. Emotions are massive drivers here. Guarantees tap directly into our desire to avoid feeling bad, especially the fear of making a mistake, buying the wrong thing.
Buyer's remorse. Nobody wants that.
Exactly. There's a real psychological comfort in knowing an outcome is guaranteed, a security that probability just can't quite match. Guarantees also help soothe that post-purchase anxiety, that did I do the right thing feeling. And maybe most fundamentally, a strong guarantee signals something important about the business itself. It says, we stand behind our product. That builds trust, which is absolutely crucial online.
So it's like a trust signal, a confidence booster. Yeah. And you mentioned brain science earlier. What's actually happening neurologically?
Yeah, this is cool. Brain scans show that uncertain outcomes tend to light up the amygdala, that's the fear center. But guaranteed outcomes, they activate the reward centers, like the nucleus accumbens. Our brains literally find certainty more rewarding.
Wow. So it feels better at a biological level.
It seems so. The reward response is often stronger for a sure thing than a probable thing, even if the math says they're worth the same. Plus, uncertainty causes stress, right? Cortisol release and all that. Guarantees can actually reduce that physiological stress.
Fascinating. And I guess everyone's a bit different in how much they hate risk.
Absolutely. Individual risk aversion varies a lot, which influences how strongly people react to guarantees.
Okay, so our brains are wired for certainty. It feels better emotionally. It reduces stress. How does all this actually change our behavior when we're clicking around an online store? What does it look like in practice?
Well, it affects the whole journey. Someone influenced by zero-risk bias might just delay buying. They'll spend more time researching, looking for that extra reassurance if they sense any potential downside.
They hesitate more.
Yeah. And interestingly, research shows people are often willing to pay more, sometimes 15% to 40% more, for a product with a strong guarantee compared to a similar one without.
That much? Wow.
Yeah, the peace of mind has real value. And when faced with choices, they'll often pick the one with the guarantee that knocks out a specific risk they're worried about, even if another option might be, objectively a better deal overall.
So we might make seemingly illogical choices just to avoid that tiny risk.
Exactly. Sometimes we focus on really small, unlikely risks and maybe ignore bigger ones just because one option offers that complete certainty on a particular point.
I can totally see that. I've probably done it myself. And you said earlier this bias is maybe even stronger for e-commerce products. Why specifically online?
It really comes down to that lack of physical interaction. In a store, you can touch things, try clothes on, see the quality up close. Online, you can't.
Right, you rely on pictures and descriptions.
Exactly. That creates way more uncertainty about quality, fit, how it actually functions. Will this sweater feel scratchy? Will these shoes really fit? That heightened uncertainty makes online shoppers especially prone to zero-risk bias. They're looking for signals to reduce that uncertainty.
Which makes guarantees super important online.
Absolutely vital. They become a much more powerful tool in the e-commerce context because the baseline level of perceived risk is just inherently higher.
Okay, so guarantees are the weapon of choice here. Let's talk strategy. What are some specific types of guarantees that e-commerce businesses can use effectively to combat this bias and, get more sales?
Right. Let's get practical. The cornerstone really is the money-back guarantee. It's super versatile and directly hits that financial risk. What if I don't like it and waste my money?
That's classic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
For e-commerce, it needs to be simple to understand, clear about what it covers, and very visible product page, cart, checkout. Don't make people hunt for it.
makes sense. What about the time limit? Does that matter? Like 30 days, 60 days?
It does, psychologically. Obviously, business practicalities matter, but research often suggests 30 days hits a good sweet spot. It feels substantial enough. Sometimes better than, say, just 14 days. It builds more trust.
Interesting. And conditional versus unconditional? Like no questions asked.
Generally, unconditional, no questions asked is the most powerful for building immediate trust and driving that initial sale. It feels truly risk-free.
But sometimes conditions make sense.
Sometimes, yeah. For certain products, specific conditions can actually add credibility if they relate to a key feature. But, and this is crucial, avoid unclear processes, hidden restrictions, making returns a pain. That backfires badly, destroys trust.
Right. Got to make it easy. Any big examples of money-back guarantees working really well online?
Oh, Zappos is the classic example, right? Their 365-day return policy, especially for shoes online.
A whole year.
A whole year. It seemed crazy, but it directly tackled that huge uncertainty. Buying shoes without trying them on, the result, way higher conversions. And believe it or not, their return rates were actually lower than average.
Wow. That long window just screamed confidence.
Total confidence. It completely removed a massive barrier.
Okay, so money back is huge. What else? What other guarantee types work well online?
Free trial models are incredibly effective, especially for subscriptions and digital products, software, courses, streaming services, all that stuff.
Try before you buy, basically.
Exactly. It removes the upfront risk entirely. You experience the value before paying. The key, though, is optimizing that trial to paid conversion.
How do you do that well?
You need to show the core value quickly. Guide users so they actually use it effectively during the trial. Make the switch to paid, seamless, low friction. Don't make it hard to upgrade.
And there's a psychology to it too, right?
Yeah, psychological ownership. Once you've used something, set it up, invested time, you feel like it's yours, you're more likely to pay to keep it.
Makes sense. Any good examples of free trials in e-commerce?
Well, think about software like Slack. Their free tier is really robust. Teams use it, get value, integrate it into their workflow.
And then upgrading feels natural when they need more features.
Exactly. The value is proven, the risk feels minimal.
Okay, so money back, free trials. What else is in the toolkit?
Performance and results guarantees can be very compelling. These tie the guarantee to a specific outcome the product promises.
Like what? For e-commerce?
Could be quality, guaranteed 100% organic cotton, or effectiveness guaranteed to fit perfectly for clothes, or maybe guaranteed to improve sleep in 30 days for a wellness product.
Okay, what's the catch there?
The key is you need clear, objective ways to measure if the promise was met, and you have to set realistic standards. Don't overpromise.
Right, got to be achievable. What about things like warranties?
Extended warranties and protection plans. These address longer-term worries about durability, especially for pricier things, online electronics, appliances.
Things you expect to last.
Exactly. They offer peace of mind about future problems. Plus, they can be an extra revenue stream for the business. And offering different tiers, like a basic and a premium plan, lets you cater to customers with different levels of risk aversion.
Like Apple Care for iPhones and stuff?
Perfect example. Apple Care sells well because it directly addresses specific anxieties, dropping your phone, battery issues beyond the standard warranty. People pay for that extra security.
Okay, lots of different types. But just having a guarantee isn't enough.
Yes.
Right? How do you design one so it actually works, so it genuinely tackles that zero-risk bias?
Right. The design is critical. There are a few core things. First, the commitment level has to be right. Meaningful enough to matter to the customer, but sustainable for your business. Don't offer something you can't afford to deliver on.
Finding that balance.
Exactly. Second, any conditions need to feel reasonable and fair. If it sounds like you're trying to wiggle out of it, it undermines the whole point.
Keep it simple.
Simple and fair. Third, the claim process has to be dead simple. Straightforward, clearly explained. If it's a hassle to make a claim, the guarantee is worthless in practice.
Where ease of use is key.
And fourth, communication clarity. The guarantee needs to be prominent. Product pages, cart, checkout. Key decision points. Not buried in the T&Cs page nobody reads.
Make it visible. Got it. And what about the psychology within the design? How do you leverage that?
Use trust-building language. Words like guarantee, promise, risk-free, commitment, they carry weight.
They sound solid.
Yeah. and specifically target those e-commerce anxieties we talked about. Fit, quality, returns, tailor the message, maybe different guarantees for different products or customer segments, if that makes sense for your store.
And what if people are just generally skeptical?
Good point. If you're in a field where people are wary, frame the guarantee to address that directly.
Yeah.
And use social proof alongside it, reviews, testimonials, seeing that others had a good experience and there's a guarantee. That's powerful.
Reinforces the message.
Yeah.
Any companies that really nail these design principles?
Oh, yeah. Purple, the mattress company. Their 100-night risk-free trial is everywhere on their site. Conditions are clear, returns are meant to be easy. It perfectly tackles the buying a mattress online fear.
That's a good one.
Or think about the old P90X fitness guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, that bluntness cut through the skepticism about home fitness programs working.
Addresses the doubt head on.
Exactly. And Brooklinen, the bedding company, their 365-day warranty isn't just generous, it's backed by customer service that's empowered to make things right quickly. That seamless experience is part of the guarantee, really.
Okay, so it's the whole package, the promise, and the execution. Now, we've talked about different types and design. Are there specific ways these play out in different e-commerce niches? Like, does it differ for clothes versus electronics?
Absolutely. You see specialization. For apparel, like you said, fit guarantees plus free returns are almost standard now. Addresses that core sizing worry.
Makes sense.
Electronics. You see more performance guarantees, battery life, functionality over time. Perishable goods online. Freshness guarantees are non-negotiable. You have to promise quality on arrival.
And digital versus physical products.
Yeah. Different focus. Digital often guarantees satisfaction, usability, maybe access, rather than a physical return. And a big area is using guarantees specifically to fight cart abandonment.
How does that work?
Showing a strong guarantee message right when someone signals they might leave the site, like moving the mouse towards the exit button, it can pull them back in.
A last-minute reassurance.
Exactly. And don't forget post-purchase reinforcement. Reminding people of the guarantee in the confirmation email or even a note in the package, it reduces buyer's remorse, can even lower return rates.
Interesting. What about businesses that sell services online, not physical products? How do guarantees work there?
That's a bit trickier, right? Because it's intangible. Guarantees become even more critical for services to reduce that perceived risk.
Well, how do you guarantee a service?
You need to be really clear about what satisfaction means. Focus on specific, measurable aspects. Maybe guarantee response times or guarantee a particular outcome if possible. Like a marketing agency might guarantee a certain number of leads, though that can be risky.
So make the intangible tangible through the guarantee.
Precisely. Or a cleaning service might guarantee they'll re-clean for free if you're not happy, or cover any damages. Specific promises addressing specific worries.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's say we've put a guarantee in place. How do we actually know if it's, working? What should we measure?
Good question. You need KPIs, key performance indicators. Obvious one. Conversion rate impact. Before and after. At checkout specifically.
Right. Did sales go up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also look at customer lifetime value. Are guaranteed buyers sticking around longer, spending more?
The long-term view?
Yep. And do a cost-benefit analysis. Compare the extra revenue from higher conversions against the actual cost of fulfilling claims. Is it profitable?
Need to know the bottom line.
Definitely. Also track utilization metrics. How often are guarantees claimed? Why? This tells you a lot, maybe about product issues or unclear terms.
So it's not just about sales, but also costs and feedback. What about testing different guarantees? How do we find the best fit?
A/B testing is your friend here. Test everything. Different time frames, 30 days versus 60 days. Different wording, risk-free versus satisfaction, guaranteed. Different placement product page versus cart versus checkout.
Test.
Constantly. Even small tweaks can make a difference. Use multivariate testing too. See how the guarantee interacts with other elements on the page. And critically, get direct feedback. Ask customers what they think of the guarantee. Surveys, follow-up emails.
Talk to your customer.
Always. And track the long-term impact on satisfaction and loyalty. It's an ongoing process, not a one-time setup. Market changes, competitors change. You need to keep optimizing.
Right, continuous improvement.
Yeah.
We've mentioned some great examples like Zappos and Casper. Any others that really stand out for using guarantees effectively?
Well, Amazon's whole approach to returns and their A to Z guarantee for third-party sellers was fundamental. It built massive trust in online shopping early on.
Yeah, they made returns easy.
Super easy. ASOS, the fashion site, saw a huge conversion bump, like 32% and lower returns after pushing their free return policy hard.
Interesting that returns went down.
Yeah, sometimes removing the friction actually reduces frivolous returns. REI's lifetime satisfaction guarantee built incredible loyalty, though they had to adjust it eventually for sustainability.
Right, finding that balance again.
And Warby Parker's home try-on for glasses. Perfect example of tackling the specific online risk, how will these look on me, with a risk-free trial guarantee.
All great examples. Now, obviously, guarantees are powerful, but what are the pitfalls? What are the challenges businesses need to watch out for?
Yeah, it's not all upside. A big one is balancing the promise and the delivery. You have to be able to consistently honor the guarantee efficiently.
Don't promise what you can't deliver.
Exactly. Setting unrealistic expectations or making misleading claims is terrible for your brand. And handling claims poorly, that can do more damage than having no guarantee at all, ruins your reputation fast.
Operational excellence is key then.
Absolutely. You also need to think about preventing abuse without making it hard for genuine customers, and making sure your guarantee process can scale as you grow. And of course, legal compliance. Guarantee laws vary. You need to make sure your terms are clear and legally sound everywhere you sell.
So transparency, good operations, managing costs, and staying legal.
Got it.
Looking ahead now, what's next? Any future trends in e-commerce guarantees?
Technology will definitely play a bigger role. Think AI personalizing guarantee offers based on customer history or risk profile.
Interesting. Tailored guarantees.
Maybe. The Internet of Things could enable proactive guarantees. Your smart fridge orders its own replacement filter under warranty, that kind of thing. Blockchain could create more transparent guarantee records for high-value items.
Wow, okay. What about customer expectations?
They're rising. Strong guarantees might become table stakes, just expected. We'll see more integration with other trust signals like reviews. Transparency will be key. Different generations might have different preferences too.
So guarantees need to keep evolving.
For sure. And more strategic integration. Maybe tiered guarantees and loyalty programs, or partnerships between businesses offering complementary guarantees. It'll become more dynamic.
Sounds like it's moving way beyond just a simple return policy. Okay, let's bring this all home. For listeners wanting to implement or improve their zero-risk strategy, what's a practical framework, step by step?
Okay, 4 key steps. Step 1, assessment and strategy. Do a risk audit for your store. Surveys, cart abandonment data, return reasons. See what your competitors offer. Do different products need different guarantees? Model the potential financial impact. Get the lay of the land.
Understand your specific situation first.
Right, yeah.
Step 2.
Design and development. Choose the guarantee types that fit your products and customers. Write clear, simple terms and conditions. Make them easy to find. Streamline your actual return refund process internally. Plan where and how you'll display the guarantee message on your site.
Build the actual guarantee in the process. Okay. Step 3.
Implementation and operations. Train your customer service team. They need to know the guarantee inside out and handle claims well. Update your website, your systems, plan how you'll announce or promote the guarantee, and get initial feedback from customers once it's live.
Roll it out and make sure everyone's ready. And the final step.
Step 4. Measurement and optimization. This is ongoing. Track those KPIs, conversions, LTV, costs, claim rates, A/B test messaging, terms, placement. Regularly review performance data and adjust. Keep an eye on competitors. Never stop refining.
Assess, design, implement, optimize.
Got it. That's a really solid framework.
So wrapping things up, the core message seems crystal clear. Understanding the zero-risk bias and then strategically using guarantees to address it. It's not just a nice extra in e-commerce. It feels pretty essential for growth.
Absolutely essential. Well-designed guarantees aren't just policies, they're powerful tools. They build trust, they drive conversions, they create stronger, more loyal customer relationships. At the end of the day, that's what grows a business.
And maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to take away. Really think about the specific worries, the anxieties your potential customers have when they land on your site. What are those little hesitations? And then ask yourself, how could a targeted guarantee, designed just right, address those specific fears and completely transform their decision to buy from you? Explore the ideas we talked about. See what fits your unique situation. It can make a huge difference.
Oh, really good.
This deep dive was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free in your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.